of Bloom Solutions. We're coming to you live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. We're a little bit late today because we are working on a new streaming platform. We're using StreamYard for the first time. So if you are seeing any weirdness in the video or the audio, please let us know. We're watching the comments very closely, and we're hoping that it will be a smooth show. So we've got a pretty good show for you today. I'm going to start introducing our awesome panel as I add them to the stream one at a time. Here we go. Let's hope I don't screw this up. With me is Justin David, COO of Bloom Solutions. Ramon Tayag, CTO of Bloom Solutions. Our faces are huge suddenly. Returning, Miko Ilas, Binance Philippines. Sponsoring the show this week again, happy birthday, Paxful.com, April Albero. Paolo Del Puerto, CEO of Moneybees. Welcome back. We missed you last week. And Mark Vernon, CEO of TagCash. And our special guest for this week, Stephen Wenceslao of the UnionBank blockchain team. So we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things today. Wow, this is a full room. This is interesting, guys. It's actually kind of pretty cool. Okay, so a lot of interesting things happened this week while we were away. And I have just realized I've forgotten to introduce a very important person. Coach Eman, here he is. Sorry about that, bro. I actually thought you couldn't get in. Okay.
Let him go first.
Actually, as it happens, he is the very first segment today because, as you could probably imagine,
smiles.
we're a crypto show. You got to talk about the crypto price this week. This is a very important week for both Bitcoin and Ethereum and a lot of other altcoins. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Oh, wow, we're all really small. So I guess that's what happens there. Okay. So quick reminder of what we were at last week. On July 21st, the price of Bitcoin was $9,156. That was when Eman did his technical analysis for the week. And one of the things that he said was that he was expecting a $10,800 potential ceiling for this price. The price right now is $10,749. That's pretty close. I think that might be the closest prediction I've heard, certainly. Coach, tell us what happened and explain to us how right you are about your technical analysis for this week.
Okay, so first of all, I'm not always right. First of all, I'm not always right. So everything that I did, every criteria that I look for, every time I always make a decision is always based on risk management. So from here, last time we also predicted that 10.8. So that was the safest number that I can think of because of psychological resistance of there's always a psychological resistance of 11,000, and apparently it already hit another psychological resistance of 10. What's our high?
11.1. 11.1. Oh, was it 4? I didn't see that it hit 4.
Up to 11.415.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's 11.394. So,
okay. All right.
Binance.
Yeah.
Binance.
Yeah.
Binance.
Right.
So that's the reason why we are always we want to lower expectation when it comes to price targets because of, again, psychological resistance. So what is psychological resistance? It means it is the nice numbers, easy to remember numbers, and most of the people who doesn't know trading are likely to sell their positions on those nice numbers. So from here, we're now at 10,800, and I'm expecting a retracement at 10,400.
You can share your screen if you want to share your screen, by the way, bro. If you
Takot
want.
ako eh, baka iba yung ma-share ko eh. Wait, this
What are
is
you looking at right now?
The real trading
Better
pass.
safe than sorry. I'll try
that's
next
okay.
week. I'll try next week.
10-4? What? 10-3?
I don't want to read.
So yeah, okay, sige, tell us what you are predicting na lang. Sorry, sige,
Okay,
it's
so
fine.
guys, imagine.
Oh, God.
So imagine. So right now I'm expecting a potential support. So meaning there are buyers like me who are waiting for another re-entry. So we need to watch out that again psychological number. So it's a added bias, no? Added bias. So coming from Donna Bella 10.
Wait, there's no, their coach, there's no fib support on that 10-3, 10-4?
Yes, there is actually. It's a 382 fib support
There is.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so, pero to be exact, when it comes to Fibonacci, it says 3634, 10 4 10 3. So around that area. If you're going to use a Fibonacci retracement. So overall, we just broke the market cap. So we're now at 300 billion. So yay! So all we need to do is look for retracement. So again, guys, so with this market volume, it still doesn't guarantee you will earn. Especially for those who are trading in futures. So always make sure that you manage your risk so you can also have a good future in futures, in trading futures. So,
Nice. Poetic.
that's a quotable quote.
All right.
So yeah. What else? What else do we also look at?
Coach, do you when you're doing your analysis, do you look at parang blockchain news? Do you look at global news? What are the things that you, or are you really just parang talagang chart reading siya? There's no news aspect to it ba?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. First, in like as a trader, we have these criteria. So if there always a random, let's say, spike or surge in the market, we always think in technical terms or technical criteria first, and then that's the only time after checking our criteria. That's the only time we are going to check if there's our news or catalyst, because we can't really prioritize on fundamentals or announcement. Just like what happened during 2018, anyone can lie, but the numbers don't. So that's my basis why I always choose technical analysis. But again, we have different opinion and we trade our own money. So at the end of the day, it's all about making money and making sure you don't give it back to the market.
Okay, good to hear. So question to the panel. I think like did we just lose someone? We just lost someone. Who did we lose? Was that Mark? Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So, question to the panel. What would you attribute the recent jump? And I guess we can just call maybe just from Saturday, no? So I think Saturday was the last time we were at 9,500. And then over the next 48 hours, it jumped all the way up to 11. What would you attribute that to, do you think?
Well, let's say macro fundamental.
Yeah. So I guess because we've heard the technical analysis part, but is there some kind of macro reason for it?
Yes, it's because of for sale.
Because of for sale. No. We're not going to talk about that anymore.
setting the joke aside. I think it's all about the current condition of of our economy. So, number one, people don't want to touch any fiat. So probably a lot of people has this opinion na they don't want to withdraw cash, so they want to use digital, and other people might think of, oh, this is the future, digital money is the future, and probably most of them search, oh, what is the new digital money, and they stumble upon on Bitcoin. So that also happened to me during 2017 when I started to, or let's say I decided to take it seriously, the Bitcoin thing. So that might also throw in other people who just found out Bitcoin nowadays. So yeah, and just to give a story, no, I had this friend who visited me. Tapos is going to pay me in cash. You know what he did? He
What?
sprayed a lot
He
of
told you for
alcohol.
cash.
So isipin mo, in-spray niya lang ng alcohol yung cash. So
Oh, wow.
again, yeah. So there are also people na thinking na they don't want to touch the cash anymore, yung fiat. So yeah, probably ganun. And another important thing that I see is the cycle. Of course, market cycle. Market cycle. So markets go in on a cycle. We go in bearish, we go in bullish. So the more we accumulate on sideways, if we broke out those support and resistance, it will be stronger. So just like what happened, diba? Parang nagulat na lang lahat na, uy, BTC just broke out. And we are also looking at the 8,800 last week na people are, there's something important in here na every time na nagdadump yung price ng Bitcoin, parang someone is defending it eh. So isa yun sa another significant criteria that we look for. Bakit yung sabi ko na bullish tayo last week.
Right.
Every time na nag-short ako, parang stop out. Stop out. I was like, okay, I go long.
I think that was probably just Mark Vernon. Yeah, that's just Mark Vernon, like keeping the price up. Other people from the panel, what would you attribute the recent jump to?
Does anybody watch the gold price reach an all-time high end of last week? End of last night.
Yeah.
Reading on your price, and it goes up, and it's going to go up a little bit more. But usually, when everything settles down, then gold price will go straight down, as it has done in the past. So, do you think people are, because gold's going up, they think, okay, we should also go in Bitcoin? Is that correlation?
So I heard that there's some problems actually with the physical delivery of gold, and some people say that those people that don't want to buy gold because they're not sure they'll actually get it will move into other hard assets like Bitcoin.
Well, that's provably yours, which is very different from buying a gold certificate. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was explaining today to a real estate broker in Cyprus, where I'm buying property. I'd like to pay Bitcoin for my property. It's so much easier. And he said, yeah, we've got a couple of customers already that want to pay in Bitcoin for large property amounts, where it's just a lot easier than not involved in the bank. So I think for large purchases of items, I think Bitcoin is really good.
Yeah,
right.
But it needs more education. He didn't know anything about it. I had to educate him on Bitcoin.
Okay. Other thoughts, Pao? Did you have what would you attribute the price pop to? You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh no.
He's a new mic. It's a new mic. So
yeah, I know it's got a really new mic. What do you think it's saying? Can anyone lip read? Pao, sorry, you might have to maybe, I don't know, like restart the browser or something like that.
Or you have to choose the cam and microphone.
Possibly. Yeah.
Because you might have more than one source. Or you kick them out.
So I did not kick him out. I did not kick him out. Okay. All right. So Miko Ilas, any thoughts on what caused the price jump?
Can certainly point out any reason. Actually, we've heard about it. Pero I've read the past weekend that some other markets are up. So I guess that's what happens when eventually, we all know that many countries around the world are printing money, like continuously stimulus packages for countries to counter the economic downturn from the coronavirus epidemic. No? So I guess some of it just goes into the markets, like making the most out of the extra cash we get, I guess, at least from countries that get stimulus packages, I guess. So currently, I think that's one fairly recent.
Yeah.
I think it might be a few whales that got together, got a bit bored with the price staying at 9,200 or whatever, and said, let's pump it up a bit, or let's just do something because it's getting boring. And people are getting bored with Bitcoin because it's not going to hit the news. Now it hits the news again, gone up 20%. So I reckon there's a few whales out there kickstarted.
Tell us what happens on Paxful during a morning like today when price difference was, what's it last night? Was it 10,100 or something? Very big jump. There's like a 8 to 9% jump. Does anything different happen in the Paxful marketplace during a day like this?
I think there was nothing that much. I do have my trade still open, but because some buyers might still come in, but it's not that there's not that much buyer. I think people are kind of waiting what will happen in the next few hours. So what will happen to the price. But I did get some buyers this morning, but there's not a lot. There's time, especially in the afternoon, where there's lots of people opening trades at the same time. But it did not happen this afternoon.
Do you think it's because people don't want to accidentally buy expensive Bitcoin? Like they're trying to protect themselves from.
Yeah, I do have a friend. I talked to my two friends this morning. It was like, do you have some funds in your wallet, because the price went up last night, and they were like, I was about to buy, but then I'm going to see if it's going to maybe decrease a little in the next few hours. So a few people are waiting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. I'm not sure that we noticed a big difference in our buyers. I think that what happened was that we did fewer trades, but the trades that we did were larger. But I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell. We're kind of a slightly different type of trader, I guess. But it was certainly interesting to kind of observe what people are doing. Z Long in the chat is calling it a bull trap. No, Coach, is this a bull trap? Is that what's happening right now? Oh, you're muted, or there's something wrong with the audio.
Retracement. Too soon to call it bull trap.
Okay, got it.
We are already outside the range, so we want to see a pattern first. So if it fails, and then go back to 10,000. So that's the reality of predicting the price. So candlestick kasi is delay. So how you anticipate the price? So doon na papasok the trading.
There's a funny question in the chat. I don't know how to answer.
What happens in President its head?
When the price jumps like that. There's only one person on this panel who can answer this question, unfortunately.
Where?
There. It's what happens in Justin's head when the price jumps like this. Hello, Justin. Are you going to answer that question?
Yeah, it's going to what is this? Yeah, nothing's gonna happen. Let's just say that.
What? Nothing's gonna happen? Like you're completely neutral.
It won't be on the show anymore.
Come on. Okay. I got it. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about not just Bitcoin, though, but also Bitcoin wasn't the first of the big coins to go up. It was actually Ethereum. Right. And I wanted to talk about this really interesting article from CoinDesk, where they were saying that. So let me just share it here so everyone sees it. Here you go. The title was Ether leaves Bitcoin behind with 2020 gain of over 100%. So firstly, I wasn't sure if this was correct. Is this factually true? Because I seem to remember that Bitcoin was at $3,800 at one point.
It didn't double in price. So it was 220, 240, and it went up to 313. Is that 100%?
There was a day when Ether was at 180. It actually did go below $200 per
No,
link.
it's the last couple of weeks. It's been 240 or so, 220, 240. Anyway, it's just from over promotion. Do you think the Ethereum rise kickstarted the Bitcoin rise?
Well, this is the lag that we were talking about with DeFi, right? Like this could be why we were asking a couple of weeks ago, all this talk of DeFi, why is the Ether price not going up? I think the more interesting thing about Ether right now is the 505% gain, appreciation in fees with Ethereum. That's like the bigger talk right now, right? How much is it? Yeah, the fees are like ridiculously high right now with Ethereum.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's a problem.
MLM.
Yeah, that's a problem for a network like Ethereum, in my opinion.
But if a lot of money is pouring into DeFi for Ethereum, a lot of that goes in as Bitcoin. As you want to use your Bitcoin or do something, so people buy more Bitcoin and put it in there because it's hard to put other things in. I don't know what's the biggest currency that is in DeFi at the moment. Is it Bitcoin that's wrapped, or is it
Comp still probably? Is it comp?
Yeah, it would still be DAI, right? Right?
DAI?
I mean, it can't be Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is $180 million, but it's not.
But you've got wrapped Bitcoin, then you put your Bitcoin and make it make money for you rather than selling it.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was only 108. You know what? Actually, I feel like I took a screenshot of that also. Wait. There. I literally have the article right here. Bitcoin value floods nearly $180 million in liquidity into Ethereum. So, so Bitcoin is being used as collateral inside these decentralized financial apps. And it's only about $180 million. I'm pretty sure that the DAI stuff is way bigger than this because of compound.
It wouldn't have affected the Bitcoin price. It wouldn't make people buy.
I don't think so. But
I mean, you did get news reports about DeFi pushing the fact more people into it, and then you go, I'll buy Bitcoin because everyone else is buying it. It's kind of difficult to know where the Bitcoin spike started come from.
Do you see Ethereum going to $1,000? Question from the chat.
Like before.
And we saw it already, right? We already saw that. It happened already. So I guess the answer to that is yes.
Yes, but not now.
Yeah. I mean, certainly not now, but I didn't think it was possible until it happened. And now we totally know it's possible because it's happened before.
More important question for the people that own Bitcoin like me is when will Bitcoin hit 30,000? 3 times as much, the same.
Yeah. I don't know. You have a time frame on that? Like, when do we break all-time high with Bitcoin price?
When people start getting fed up with gold, and then they turn to Bitcoin instead of gold as a
Well, gold just reached all-time highs, right? So that's nowhere near.
That's really interesting. I was surprised to see that, but that's in nominal terms, meaning it's not adjusted for inflation. But when you adjust it for inflation, it's far from its all-time high.
Okay. So
yeah, right.
But the buzzword there that everybody's sharing, or any mainstream news is sharing.
I just think
people are going to safe havens,
when you want to start moving your assets, like moving gold around in a real, like buying property or buying assets, it's kind of harder with gold. It's kind of hard, And when more and more people realize what they can do with Bitcoin as well as having it as a store value, then it will start rising a little bit more. Because it doesn't matter what the value is then. It's just, as long as it stays fairly stable, not 20,000 to 3,000 like before. That's not very
Don't worry. I think this time you'll see something like 200K to 30K.
Wow. You just want me to sell mine right now.
That is a scary drop.
Well, you'll reach around 200 first before you go back down to 30.
Honestly, I'd be very happy with that.
I think that's very plausible, everyone.
Yeah.
I'll be buying everyone drinks if that happens.
Oh, cool. All right. So you heard it on the show, guys. That's not just people on the panel, but everyone that's in the chat. So please just show up at Mark's place when
around a couple of standing lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, well. Okay, fine. Raf is correcting us that Chainlink is actually the highest network value among all DeFi projects.
Yeah, I've been reading that Chainlink is going to be ahead of Bitcoin and everything else because of the way it wraps everything together, pulls everything together, has more usage.
Right.
That's an interesting article.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about this really great article that I read on CoinDesk about everything. It's called "Everything You Need to Know About Ethereum 2.0." And if you don't already know, Ethereum has been trying to upgrade itself for the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, with very great difficulty. And they've finally decided to put a deadline onto it. No? So we know that it's going to happen. It's going to start sometime this year, towards the end of this year, I guess. And I'm not going to go through all of the details, but I just wanted to kind of point to this article. If this is the kind of thing you're interested in, if you want to know what's going on with Ethereum, this is a really great place to start. I really appreciated it because I didn't know a lot of these details. And I've actually kind of written down some really important kind of highlights about the big transition. The first one is that Ethereum is finally going to become the proof of stake blockchain that it always wanted to be. Because, even from the back when Vitalik was just talking about Ethereum, he always talked about making it a proof of stake because unlike proof of work, there's less work. So there's less electricity expenditure and all of that stuff.
20%.
So it's finally going to be a proof of stake thing. And there's going to be a kind of like a initial seed round where you're going to have 16,000 validators, and these are kind of like nodes. They need to all have 32 Ether each in order to prove that they are a participant of the network. And also to kind of validate the transactions. So when you can already kind of imagine what's going to happen. No? Like when this is ready, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are going to want to buy Ethereum so that they can become part of the network. And then
price up, yeah, definitely.
For sure. And then the other thing is that the reason why they want to become a validator is because the estimate is that they will earn about 20% annual interest on their ETH, which is pretty good, all things considered.
Until you read the next one, number 4.
Yeah, and then it's not so great because, obviously there's going to be many people who will want to become a validator, and obviously the interest rate goes down. If there are 150,000 validators, it becomes something like 7%. That's kind of the scale. And there's already about 118,000 wallets all over the world that have at least 32 ETH that could potentially become a validator right now if ETH2 just started, like tomorrow.
7% is good. If it's 160,000 wallets having more than 32, 7% is good. I'll go for that.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw these numbers, I thought it was pretty decent, right? It's something you should look at least.
If you think that the price is going to go up because a lot of people are going to buy into this, then you should be buying Ether towards the end of the year.
Yeah. Or right before the, kind of Ether.
Whenever that is, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the main thing here, no? So they've actually said multiple times that they're right around the corner with ETH 2.0. And they've kept moving that deadline back more than once. So, just bear that in mind when you look at these numbers. There's a lot of things that could still change. But it's interesting that, like, even from now, they already know that the main way that they can incentivize people to join their network is by saying that there's a 20% annual interest. And that is very high. So I think they will have no problem at all getting 16,000 validators immediately. So that's I thought that was pretty interesting. So I don't know if this was the perfect segue, but like one of the reasons why we wanted to do this particular episode was because last week one of our audience members requested for us to cover Bonds.ph, which is a new app from Union Bank of the Philippines and PDAX. Nichelle Gaba, the CEO of PDAX, has actually been messaging me just to make sure that we've got all the information that we need. He says that we're in good hands with Stephen. What I wanted to kind of do now was just kind of do a quick discussion about what Bonds.ph is, and what it's trying to accomplish. But maybe just to start, maybe let's do a quick definition of what bonds are first for our audience, so they can kind of get a better sense of, like what it is actually. So I don't know, Stephen, you want to do a quick definition of what treasury bonds are first?
Sure. Essentially what bonds are debt instruments, form of debt instruments. So utang siya, kumbaga. So in this case, in the treasury bonds called RTB 24 of the Bureau of Treasury of the government, that means the government is issuing these bonds, meaning they're the ones asking for money to raise. Or in this case, this RTB 24 issuance is for to help the government, fund efforts to fight COVID-19, to mitigate the effects of COVID-19, to help our own countrymen. So that's basically it. So essentially, the investors are those who are willing to lend their money to the government.
Okay, so just to make sure that I completely understand that, so the government is trying to raise a certain amount of money. We don't know exactly what the amount is. They are going to the general public to borrow that money, and the bond is like their promise of repayment. Is that yes. A fair way to say it? Okay,
yes,
all right.
That's precise,
So Bonds.ph is an app for basically giving your money to the government so that they can use it for kind of the COVID recovery efforts and things like that, and then you earn some kind of interest on top of that, right? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, that's correct. So bonds generally, you have what's so-called the coupon interest, or the interests essentially. So in the case of this one, the RTB 24 of the Bureau of Treasury, all the investors who will subscribe to the bonds for as low as 5,000 pesos will essentially get coupon payments or interest payments of 2.625% per annum, spread out in 4 quarters per year, and then the maturity, meaning like the end date of the bonds, when the bonds mature, essentially 5 years. So it's going to run for 5. The bonds are going to mature up to 5 years. So at the end of the fifth year time, the investors will all get back what they subscribe. So on top, so kunyari 5,000, you placed in 5,000 the minimum. At the end of the 5-year issuance, you'd get back 5,000 plus the interest you accumulated over the 5 years.
So with these bonds, you can sell them. It's like a term deposit that you can sell to anyone else, so they can start making the interest.
Yeah.
Can you sell it? Can you move it else?
Yeah, you could move it somewhere else. So like once you get your bond issued to your account in the app, you could keep trading it with other investors as well. So yeah, you could still do that sort of thing.
I assume you would be doing that through PDAX, that trading part.
Well, I think the app has a possibility to, like, you could buy and sell your bonds within the app itself.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So there is a total amount. What's the total bond amount being raised, or are they going to say this one's called so much for 5 billion or whatever, right?
I forgot the numbers. I should have gotten it earlier before the call, but they're raising X amount of billions of pesos for this.
I mean, X amount. You could get into trouble, for saying X amount of anything in this government. But okay, so one of the questions that the audience is asking is the one that I actually was confused by. So he's saying, can you only use this if you have a UnionBank account?
Okay, great question, Mr. Franciak. So the app works for the app is open for those who are unbanked and also those who are banked. So when you open up an account in the app, you're not you're not going to open a UnionBank account. Instead, you're going to open a Bonds.ph account. So you don't have to have a bank account. You don't open a bank account in the app. So long as you have a way to cash in to the app. So there's PayMaya, GCash, InstaPay, PesoNet, even your regular OTC sa bank. Right? You could cash in from all those channels. But you're not going to create a bank account in the app.
Yeah, wait, so yung 5%, that is guaranteed.
Sorry?
No, dude, it depends on how you read the charts.
Guaranteed ba yun? Is it guaranteed, yung 5%?
Sorry? 5%?
Yeah, it is. The interest is guaranteed, yes.
Okay.
It is a low risk.
Net.
Low risk
Net.
So the interest here of the RTB20 is 0.65% per annum.
Withholding taxes.
Tax. Yeah.
20%, huh? Is it 20% withholding? Yeah.
Okay, so Mots, there's your answer. It is not tax-free. You will be taxed on your earnings of these bonds.
Was this available to retail investors before?
Yeah.
Like buying bonds?
I think that's just how easier now.
24 the bank. So it's the 24th version, 24th run of this whole retail treasury bond. And I think it's been going on since 2001, I think. But this is the first time that it's offered via your phone.
I see. So it's supposed to make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And okay.
Is it available to cash out your money even before the 5-year duration, or you have to once? No.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
You can.
You can sell it.
Sell it.
Yeah, you can sell it. So it's effectively cashing out when you sell it. Kasi.
Oh, I see. That's good.
Okay.
What are the risks? There's a question on
If the country goes bust, if the country goes bust, then you lose money. Right.
That's true. Also, if inflation is higher than that, then you'll lose money also.
Yeah. I mean, you've got country bonds and corporate bonds. So as a company, as a big company, you can also raise money exactly the same way. You just got to have trust in that company that's raising money that way, or trust in the country. So other countries can buy our bonds if they think that the Philippines is going in good places. Would I buy Venezuelan bonds or Zimbabwe bonds? Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Zilong in the chat is asking about what's the YC like. I actually just went through it myself yesterday. So it's a lot of the similar things that you would expect. You put in your customer profile information. You have to upload a picture of your ID and then a picture of yourself holding up your ID, which is very standard stuff. Takes them about 24 hours to approve you. So I'm approved. I just got approved a few hours ago. I unfortunately did not have any money to put into it because all of my money is Bitcoin right now. Does Bonds.ph accept crypto as a payment mechanism?
So it accepts Bitcoin, but you have to have a PDAX account to do that.
But I do actually have a PDAX account also.
If it's a UnionBank tied in, if you already have a UnionBank account, wouldn't it make sense just to say, here's my details, bang, open an account, and use the same money in my UnionBank account? You think that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, but the app is designed in a way that it doesn't treat the customer whether it has a UnionBank account or not. So it's not engineered to be that way, unfortunately.
It didn't have me involved. Otherwise, I would have put it together and you got all my money in UnionBank. I can now instantly do that. I don't have to do any KYC again or transfer money.
The app, the chat is starting to ask some hard-hitting questions.
Let's say, di ba, accept ng Bitcoin. So let's say, what if naging ngayon 10,800 yung BTC. Then sabihin natin nagbayad. Paano based ba yun sa current value niya or tatamaan din ng volatility yung ano? What if sabihin natin $1 ulit yung ano?
They're not going to return Bitcoin. They're just going to return pesos, right? So you get the peso equivalent of whatever your Bitcoin could buy. Sorry, quick question from the chat. Why did UB do this with PDAX and not just by itself? This is a funny question. I don't know if there's an answer to that.
The answer is that UnionBank doesn't have a VCE license.
Is that the answer to that, Stephen?
I think what the government did, siguro for context na rin. So UnionBank, for Suraback, we are one of the issue managers in this whole RTB24 thing. Meaning we're one of the banks that are facilitating the whole RTB24 to the Filipinos. But I think it just so happens that the government potentially recognized that a good partnership between, a good collaboration between PDAX and UnionBank, who are both known for blockchain projects, blockchain initiatives in their own rights. No? So I think that's one of the reasons why the government.
The bonds at the moment,
both of us. Sorry?
The bonds at the moment are not tokenized, are they? They're just, it's traditional. So the next step would be to tokenize these bonds and then allow them to be sold just like any other tokenized asset. That would be interesting.
Currently the bonds are, as is, essentially, if you will. But yeah, it's currently as is.
First steps, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps, definitely.
Attorney Raf is going to cross-examine you now. How exactly is blockchain being used by RTB24?
Sure. So baby steps, right? Currently, what the PDAX guys have done so far for this for the blockchain implementation of the Bonds.ph RTB24 thing was that they're using, I think, Ethereum to make a decentralized ledger of all the bonds transactions done through the mobile app. So in that way, you have your regular database. That's one source of truth, diba? Your regular app database, essentially. But you also have the blockchain source of truth, the Ethereum bit, so that you could have two things that could reconcile between both of them.
So you're not putting the actual tokens on the chain, but you're doing the transactions of traditional stuff on the chain.
Yeah, exactly. A latter one.
Okay, half and half. Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps, definitely. Maybe in the future they could come up with something even better for this, but yeah.
There's another question. Is it different from Premio bonds? I don't actually know what that is.
If I'm correct, Premio bonds is also the same as RTB24, I think.
Okay.
Based on the presentation that they did. If I'm not mistaken, but I think it's the same.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it sounds like the main issue with tokenizing and just allowing anyone to hold it is that you end up losing customer information about who's holding it, right? So it's like you have to whitelist the people anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of want to know who owns the bonds of the country, right? Like, you don't want that to be completely anonymous. So, yeah. So just quick answer lang to one of the other questions I saw. The KYC looks like it's about a 24-hour process. At least that was my experience. So that was 24 hours from the moment that I submitted all the stuff. The actual process of filling it in, maybe 10 minutes, not even actually. But then I guess I should also say that I'm basically a master at filling in KYC forms at this point because we have to do so many of them for Bloom. So all of that stuff's ready. So that was pretty easy. And then by the next day, I was already approved. So someone just needs to give me some pesos so that I can lend it to the Philippine government. So far, no one has done that yet. Opinions from the panel. Why would you choose this over, say, a more traditional option? Does anyone have any thoughts? What's your initial reaction maybe to Bonds.ph?
I think
go ahead.
It brings people in, brings the retail, and because I didn't know how I would actually buy the bonds as a user. So this allows me to go in and earn more than I would be in a bank. As a company, I wouldn't mind doing it as well. Is it open to companies or is it just individuals?
Open to companies, I believe. Yeah, I mean, how you would do regularly, how people would invest in bonds regularly. I think if it's open to companies, I think it's also.
And then I would say, is the BSB Act accepted as liquid assets? It's pretty liquid, isn't it? If you can sell 100 million pesos worth of bonds whenever you want, right?
Yeah, sure.
There was enough people who wanted to take it, right?
Yeah. Usually they're oversubscribed, so people want to earn more than they can earn in a bank. So I don't think it'd be a problem to sell it. But it's great to have it in a retail side for me and for businesses, so I can put money in.
Sorry, I just got further info, but the app is currently open only to individuals.
See, Mark? So you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't buy it with your Cayman Islands.
I think, only the app is open to individuals because the KYC is only built for like solo people, individuals. But you could still, invest in bonds as a company elsewhere.
Okay.
Right, normally. But as an individual, before you had the app, how would you do it as an individual?
Yeah, so you could either you could go to a bank as an issue manager of the app, or you could go to a Bureau of Treasury as well to facilitate the buying of the bond.
A little bit more complicated than having an app that lets you go in there and buy it instantly. So I think it brings more investment to the average Filipino. They can put in finance.
That's precisely one of the goals here, financial inclusion for the Philippines.
Another question. So we know that this is the first app that delivers RTBs, right? Is this the first online service as well, or are there online websites that already do this?
I'm not sure about maybe other companies or other governments doing this mobile app thing elsewhere. But what I could tell you is that this is the first time that the government is offering RTBs to its countrymen via a mobile app, as simple as a mobile app. And number two, it's also the first time, at least in Asia, that we're tapping into blockchain technology for the whole bond ordering ability.
Although that's for transactions recording per se, right? Not necessarily for other purposes. That's how I understand it, at least, yeah. Okay, Godspeed. Good luck to the app.
Thank you.
Quick thoughts, guys. Like, is this something that feels like something that you would look into a little bit more closely? What do you guys think? April, 5%? 2%? Was it? I got the numbers mixed up.
2% to 5%, I think.
Is that correct? Now I'm confused about the exact number. What's the APY again?
Net 2 point something after
net.
Okay,
right, got it. Okay, so call it 2.5%.
So that's per year. Someone asked us if it's per month, at like 5% per month. Yeah, that's big. No, not per month.
No one.
Would you earn more money from DeFi? Would you? I mean, for the average investor in the Philippines, this is an easy way of getting in, and they can understand it. It's not a scam. They can get in. They can make more in the bank. They could make more money by buying Bitcoin and sitting on it, or getting a DeFi, but that's a bit more complex for the average Filipino to get into. Yeah, depends on your risk aversion.
2.625%. There is the exact number in the chat. Someone was paying attention, not me apparently. Okay, what do you think, April? Something to look into, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the liquidity yet, but it sounds interesting, and I at first I did have my doubts, like there is the government involved, and well, for the people with it's a low risk, and then the interest is guaranteed after 5 years. It sounds interesting.
Okay,
it's guaranteed every quarter, right? Guaranteed every quarter, not after 5 years.
Your interest is paid out
every quarter. Yeah. So it's credited into your account every quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You probably get more out of this than Forsage.
Well,
Depending on your upline.
yeah, it depends on your upline.
I mean, downline. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Raf has a pretty long comment that is going to fill our screen. Here we go. I didn't realize that this could happen, but here you go. When the Commonwealth Bank issued Bond I in 2018, they explained in detail why they need to use distributed ledger technology, what lessons were learned, and what are the benefits. Oh, Raf. Here in Bonds.ph, you just get blah blah on why they're
Salty
using.
sirap sa UnionBank.
Okay. All right. So let's just say,
Let's just say that they're
yeah.
marketing it first before explaining it.
Okay. I think suffice to say that it is a work in progress. I'm trying to prevent the comment stream from burning down the live stream. It is a work in progress, and there is a blockchain component, but it is not as involved as maybe some people thought it was. Is that a fair way to say it? There is a blockchain component, right? There is naman.
Yeah. As what Mark said a while ago, it's all baby steps for us. So really, that's what we have, or what PDAX, UnionBank, and the BTR have all brought into this version of the app for RTD24. It's what we can do for the moment.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I could say.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Coach Eman, you were initially attracted to the guaranteed interest rate.
Until he saw what the interest rate was.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think?
Sa amin government, pas ako eh.
There is a certain. Let's be fair. You are talking to a panel of people who have chosen a form of money that is not controlled by government, right? So you're already kind of filtering against. There's a certain personality type for sure in this show.
Let me be the advocate, I guess. The thing about government is, with all our misgivings with them, they have the obligation to pay everyone for that. Yung sa retail loan yun. So we compare that with company bonds, for example. So there's a smaller chance that a government will default than a company. Yeah, so generally speaking, at least. But of course, there are caveats with that. Yes. And then there's also the caveat that the interest you get from the government bond can play above or below the inflation rate nga. And given that, especially in 2020, we have had a lot of stimulus programs in the Philippines, right? Like yung Pantawid, yung Ayuda, for instance. So that will probably more often than not trigger some price increases. The question is that how much increase would it trigger and how much it will be offset by the eventually conversion, right?
Question for you, Mika. The BNB token, would you consider that a Binance bond that's useful and gives you a better return?
Wait, sorry?
the BNB
token. Yeah, your question kind of got.
It's like a bond that gives you a return over a certain period. Would you consider it like a bond?
As with any crypto, it's a token that has its own utility. So you can't really compare it with the bond per se. So I guess that's how I see it. But
so with what Miko said, I agree. If the government they'll pay you by hook or by crook, most likely, and they'll borrow to do that, right? They'll borrow more to pay you. So,
that sounds like, doesn't that sound like a Ponzi scheme? Just
hey, come on.
But it's a good point, though.
Not under control, guys.
It might change Coach Eman's mind. It's a good opinion,
guys, sa lahat ng viewers, this is just an opinion, no? So, yun nga, just what like Louis said, different personality. So, for me, as of now, just like what Mark Vernon said, it's a work in progress. Syempre, I mean, diba, parang technology just starting to Di ko alam, nag-start na yung technology sa atin, and then probably itong pandemic is the best scenario na ma-solve yung problem with our country. Pero ayun, as of now, as long as we don't see any results yet with our government, siguro neutral muna yun.
Okay, all right, there you go. And that is probably the most positive thing you could hear from Coach Eman about this. Paulo Del Puerto, I just noticed that you've joined us again. Sorry, I hope you were listening.
Is my mic work? Yeah,
Yes, it's working now.
So well, traditionally,
your thoughts?
Traditionally bonds are safe investment instruments, right? But yeah, because of what's happening now, where it becomes a little bit riskier, right? But it's good that it's becoming more accessible, right? So that's my thoughts.
I'm gonna extend that accessibility because these bonds have actually been available for a long time.
Yeah.
They're only just accessible to a lot of the banks, kind of higher echelon clients, and this is the first time that they're allowing, or they've got a product that's allowing the smaller investors with the smaller amounts to invest in. So in terms of safety, these have been around for a long time. People have been making money of these things for a long time. I like the fact that now you have the ability to sell it on an app, which is kind of like an open market. Before, if you wanted to exit your bond with the government through your bank manager, they had to shop around for a replacement for you. So you could theoretically exit your bond, you exit at a fee, unless they can find a replacement for you. And now, if this is something like, hey, I want to be out less than 5 years, anybody want to take my placement for X amount, then that's a really great kind of step forward.
Is that like an
reminds me of
just
what's
like
that?
a straight swap? Like
You have to cover the whole thing. Yeah. I mean that's the way it worked with the bigger when a bank manager does it, you has to swap
Actually,
it.
Stephen, maybe you can explain that. Like if I invested 5,000 pesos and I wanted to exit only 2,000 pesos, is that possible?
Exit 2,000. How would you
in bonds?
Yeah, like if I already put in 1,000 pesos in the Bonds.ph app and I wanted to get my 2,000 pesos back, but I wanted to keep 3,000, is that possible?
I don't have the answer to that. I haven't thought about that.
How did you do it?
So we're gonna have to
great.
try that.
Normally, it's a contract. You switch names on the contract. So I don't know if you had to 5,000 pesos. You had to take my 5,000 pesos because you're taking my place in the contract, which is and then for the remaining of the 5-year term. This reminds me a lot of what Robinhood did for stocks in the U.S. And opening that up to small retail traders. So hopefully it's along the same way like that in terms of bringing financial inclusion.
So I have another question, and so if I came in for 5,000, you could sell it for higher, right?
Yeah. So essentially, the minimum is the minimum buy-in subscription is 5,000, and you can subscribe in increments of 5,000.
Yes.
Mon is asking if.
But how will the price increase? I mean, what?
Well, because
if you get a fixed interest rate.
Philippines is about to get an upgraded credit rating from Moody's. A month before.
Yeah, but you still get the same.
No, you'll get
interest rate. Right.
Well,
so,
in effect, your interest rate
unless you
lower
want to
because
get it in
you
advance,
paid
right?
more for it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how the interest rates go lower.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's another way to make money. I mean, like if Mark said, if it is oversubscribed, that means there are more people who want the bonds than there are. So it'll be higher, and you might be able to sell it for higher, maybe.
So you would accept my 5,000 peso bond, Mon? Like if I sold it to you for 5,050 pesos, for example?
I'm not the market for this either.
I'm just thinking, Stephen, can I tokenize these assets and sell them through my app?
God, Mark, come on.
No, you tokenize the bonds, so then you can show that you own the bonds, and then you can sell those, and it's easier to move around on blockchain. I'm just,
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think Raf
Okay.
say about that.
Yeah. Attorney Raf, I am not going to read some of your comments because but suffice to say that I read I'm going to read them out loud. So anyway, okay, all right, we're gonna let that one go. Okay. Other anything else that we want to talk about in the app? I'm just gonna go back to I just realized I never even showed screenshots. Yeah, so these are the official screenshots. You can see here. Actually, your example is exactly 5,000 pesos pala. So this is 5 years, 5,000 pesos. Interest rate is 2% on this one, and then there's different interest rates.
Yeah, I think that's an old screenshot.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to point out here? Anything that's that people might need to know?
I guess maybe one of the things that I could say was that so in this is like your main screen, right? The one on the left, that's your main screen. So this is the place you go to once you get an account verified, right? It's very orange. It's very UnionBank, style. But again, you're not creating a UnionBank account when you open an account here. It's just that there's branding all over because it's a partnership between UnionBank and PDAX. But yeah, so that's essentially what you have. What you see is what you get essentially. So cash balance and then balance. Straightforward.
Okay, cool. I thought it looked pretty simple. Definitely worth looking at least. Maybe regardless of the blockchain angle, there is something to be said for a very low risk investment. Just because like on this show, we tend to talk about the high risk stuff because that's more exciting, and obviously, like that's what we are. We're a crypto webcast, but on occasion, it's not a bad idea to just kind of look at some of the low risk possibilities, just to see if there's a good fit there. Final thoughts on Bonds.ph before we move on to our BTCVault topic. Anyone? Who has left? Mark's gone.
If there are none, I think I could say maybe like summary thoughts about the whole Bonds.ph thing. So again, Bonds.ph is available via Android or iOS, and you could just download it whether you have a bank account or not. You could just download it as long as you have internet, of course. Then when you sign up, there's a KYC part where you have to go through first before cashing in, cashing out, subscribing, and redeeming or buying and selling bonds. It's very accessible. You could cash in via GCash, Paymaya, InstaPay, Pasunet, bank transfers, and all those regular things. And the primary issuance for this Bonds.ph app will run from the day we opened the app to the public, which was July 16, until I believe August 7. So
okay, great.
So,
thank you. Okay, I thought that was that made things a lot more clear to me. Question from the chat from Den. Can Bitcoin scale? So this is actually slightly unrelated now to the conversation, but I guess it's sort of a transition. Can Bitcoin scale to become a kinda, this is just already air quotes, kinda major payment network when our government adopts paperless transactions? Okay, so he's referring to one of the things that the president said the other day during the sauna. I guess that was just yesterday, pala, where he was like emphasizing that we need to go paperless. So this is not a new thing. Like every country needs to go paperless at some point, and it's not just because of COVID. It's just because we should stop chopping down trees, generally speaking. So I guess this question is Bitcoin capable of scaling to like a major payment network? Does anyone want to take that?
Okay, I guess I'll say something about it since this is one of the topics I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
So yes, I think it can. via the Lightning Network. So Lightning Network is a network that sits on top of the main Bitcoin chain, and it's like you're passing tokens around. You can course Bitcoins through someone else to get to someone else. But will people be using it, like a currency in the Philippines anytime soon, maybe in the next 5 years? I don't think so. Like most people that have Bitcoin don't really want to spend it, right? Which is the major issue that companies that sign up businesses to accept Bitcoin face. No one wants to spend Bitcoin. And payments, digital payments isn't a problem. Like you have GCash, you have Paymaya, and they work fairly well.
Yeah. Paulo Del Puerto, you've been buying Bitcoin since the Western Union days when that was the only way you could buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, Bitcoin
Well,
being
as Ramon
used?
mentioned,
Yeah.
not anytime soon. As Ramon mentioned, it's mostly people who have it are speculators, right?
Yeah.
They speculate on the price, not really for the utility of it. We see some, yes, but still not that much volume using it for remittance or your payments. Right? So it's mostly speculation.
This reminds me of an interesting parang little situation Justin and I found ourselves in a week ago, where we had a customer who wanted to buy land in the Palawan area. They were buying land and he was paying for it with Bitcoin. And I thought that was it. Okay. So there is a situation where Bitcoin was a superior way for him to move his funds from some other country and turn it into pesos in the country where he's going to spend it, and then exchange it for something of great value. It was a fairly large trade. What we thought was really funny about the deal was that the contract was written in hand. So it was handwritten. It was a handwritten contract. All the signatures were on there. Even the TIN numbers were painstakingly written on the corner of the contract and all of that stuff. So like super old school contract.
But
and then
Bitcoin.
Possibly the most high-tech payment method you could ever think of.
Yeah, so it went super high-tech to even, I think it might have been paid in cash probably, So it went to super low-tech at the end. It's interesting to see the hybrid of our two worlds.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what makes this industry really funny and interesting, especially here in the Philippines, because you're never going to get away from those types of deals where there are going to be some really, really old school mechanisms. Because I bet you that the land contract probably wasn't even all that formal. I don't even know how you'd sell land titles because that's not a centralized thing right now, right? It's not like there's a single place where you can look that up yet. Because we've got warehouses of old land titles and deeds and stuff.
That goes through the RD, your local RD. We'll say though that handwritten sales contract was notarized, so it still went through the proper legal processes. Notarized handwritten contract.
That's great.
So,
I saw it. Super cool. Yeah.
There's a comment
as it was.
also. That's related to what Luis said. Like wire transfer will long be forgotten. I think that is something that Bitcoin will take over sooner rather than buying coffee with it. When you move money, when you move money across borders
bigger
and
amounts,
Did you have you answered, or are you going to answer the question here? What do you see as Philippines government first blockchain application? Is that what we're talking about, or
we were just like
paperless?
We were just chatting. Where's the question? I'm trying to learn now. Do you remember?
Indiana June. What do you see as the Philippines government adapter's
also
blockchain application?
What do I see as? I'm trying to see it in the chat. It's gone by so fast.
Yeah, basically, it's a question that's valid. What will the Philippines government use the blockchain first for? And so, my opinion is, I think they're going to. It's probably more likely to be a mishmash or a mix of centralized and decentralized, in the same way that PDAX is already doing it for bonds. But I think probably non-fungible tokens and NFTs, where they can mount on the chain, but the actual data that is backing it up and you can have real estate tokens on the chain, but the government still manages the information. So I think that something like that will probably be the first real use case over here, where the government actually get involved. I can't see the government using Bitcoin or like a totally decentralized coin. I can't see the government using it because they don't have control. But you can have debate both worlds, and that's where I think that it's going to move ahead.
FYI, no actual trees are killed by printing cash. Thank you for that. I didn't know that. I guess that means that I can't even use that as my defense anymore. But I especially like it when the chat corrects me because it means someone really cares. If the PH internet speed will increase and cover nationwide, then using of digital payments will be good. I want to say that we're not really good at complete internet coverage yet. That was actually one of the other things that was mentioned in the State of the Nation address yesterday, where the president was saying that he's giving Smart and Globe until December of this year. He wants to be able to call baby Jesus in Bethlehem, and he wants there to be a signal. And I know that I sound like I'm telling a joke right now, but that is literally what he said.
I didn't watch it, so
I wanted my own observation there was that I don't think 5G allows you to call someone back in time.
I'm not gonna risk it.
So anyway, I thought it was kind of
you had it still won't get the average man on the street going digital. Digital cash, there's just no trust, not enough trust there. It's not like China where they just wait and they get pushed by the government to do it. Here it's just
I think also use is a big part of it.
Education, we just need.
Sure.
Yeah, we just need education too, because if we can educate those people to the real life application, so that's because on a daily basis we're kind of discovering the real use cases of Bitcoin, and it's not gonna happen soon, what you guys are saying, but we're definitely going there. So that's the huge factor.
I think there'll be hybrid examples going out there where your friends are getting involved, and because they're involved, then they're going to get their other friends coming in. It's be like, I trust my friends, I don't trust the government, or I don't trust anyone else, but I trust my friends,
Yeah.
Which is why Forsage and things like that work, because they tell their friends.
And Mark, you're really dropping the Forsage there. All night long.
Pyramid schemes and scams, they get spread by friends talking to friends. So if you can have a good thing being spread the same way, like digital transactions or Bitcoin or whatever, that's the way that you're going to get mass adoption, not through big companies telling them this is what they should do.
Yeah,
Stephen, did you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, actually, I just want to add on a point on the education bit, because that's one of the things that we're focusing on, aside from just building products. We would like to think of ourselves in UnionBank as blockchain capabilities enabler, if you will. And one of the ways we do it is we have launched a couple of projects from over the last 2 years, like the project I2I, which brought the rural banks into a blockchain network that effectively connected them to the national banking system. And also we have currently the accelerator program, which is both internally and externally transforming people in the bank and also elsewhere to have education on blockchain themselves. So really, I think one of the things that we could do right now is the education bit, right? So to increase adoption, we have to let people know how blockchain works, how blockchain could be used in situations. So rather than telling them, hey, this is blockchain, use it for what you will. It's more about letting them know how blockchain works, making them interested. So yeah.
Right. Well, there's at least 100 people watching the show that probably have a pretty good idea of how this stuff works now, probably even before they started watching this show. But I think that one of the main reasons why we're doing the Bloomcast is to kind of help that process a little bit further, and also to kind of make jokes about weird things. I think that's kind of the main reason why we do it. So we've got.
There was a couple of questions about how they're gonna like try and get this to be massively adopted. One of the things that can work is also incentives at the start. I mean, if people remember how Gcash and Smart and Paymaya were not kind of things that people used even 3-4 years back, but all of a sudden it's widely used now. I remember the initial steps that they were getting people to use it, merchants and everything, was just through a lot of incentives. So what is it, cashback, points and stuff
totally
like that.
Worked on me.
Hey, guilty as well, right? So I think when the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, I was going to say Lightning Network for Bloom, but Lightning Network for Bitcoin kind of gets more and more known. Some of the ways that people will kind of use incentives to kind of attract people over the volatility. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, definitely. But as you see volatility kind of reduce, people will start to use their Bitcoin a little bit more, I think. And then also coupled with incentives, then merchants should also start accepting Bitcoin.
Yeah. Hans Palacios in the chat is saying that Gcash took years to get traction. At one point, they were spending $200 million a year to promote. That sounds like a lot of money to me. I'm not sure if that is the exact number, but I do know that they were definitely spending a lot of money to promote. And
I agree.
Both of them, yeah, for sure.
But look where they are now, right? They're probably poised to take over in terms of being one of the premier cashless wallets.
Yeah. There's one other question here. Which companies are you most excited about in the blockchain accelerator? I'm not actually sure which blockchain accelerator he means. Does he mean UnionBanks?
Yeah, I think, the blockchain accelerator. So it's XCE, whatever. So it's an accelerator, yeah. But for this one, I'm not in the position to answer this. I'm not.
You probably should answer that.
Who's there? Who's there? Who's in it? Are you allowed to say?
Well, it's the accelerator program is a program run by UnionBank. So as far as I know, we have programs for both internal, Union bankers and also for external Union bankers. Recently, I think we went through the team went through schools to promote and to educate people as part of the accelerator program. So yeah.
Okay. So Justin was asking if are you allowed to say who the startups are that you've?
I'm not sure which. I have no idea.
Or at least the concepts.
Can't comment. We don't know who they are.
Yeah, well, I can tell you it's not Bloom, and based on Paulo's face, it's probably not Moneybees. So I guess that's
it's definitely not.
Could you at least give us an idea of the concepts?
Sure. So about like the programs in
exciting concepts. Yeah, I mean the concepts of this or ideas behind the startups that you're accelerating.
No, I actually have no idea about those startups. Okay. But I can talk to you about the programs though.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I don't think so. Based on what we know from this show, Bloom, TagCash, Moneybees, Binance, and Paxful are not part of the UnionBank Blockchain Accelerator program. Okay. All right. We can get you back at some point to talk about some of the startups that are actually there. I think that would be pretty interesting to talk about, just to see what kind of business models you guys are prepared to talk about. Obviously when you're ready. So okay, we are 6 minutes away from 8 p.m. guys. Can you imagine? Like it was a really long show again, and so I have to apologize. Like we were supposed to do a quick segment on a company called BTCVault. .com, and I don't think we're gonna have time anymore because like it actually gets fairly deep. So we're gonna have to defer that for another time. But the one thing that we cannot defer is the viewer raffle, because that is what everyone's waiting for. So while I set this up, April, do you want to tell us a little? Your birthday month, not April's birthday month, but Pax's birthday month is almost over. Do you want to tell us a little bit about, is what's happened with you guys? What are your programs that or your campaigns or stuff?
Yeah, sure. So over the last few, actually this the whole month of July. So it's Paxful's 5th birthday, and we've run lots and lots of campaigns in our global social media channel, and lots of people have joined, and we've been awarding prizes every week. And I hope we have some Filipino winners, though I don't have the names. And
Okay.
so I hope some of you guys joined and got your prizes. So it's actually I think the last awarding prize would be this week Sunday. So so there's still time to join. So just check out our social media channel, and we've really reached like a milestone in our social medias as well. So we've generated lots of new likes and followers and stuff. And so the giveaway is still running. So there's still time to join.
Cool. I guess it's not open to institutional customers like Bloom and Moneybees, no?
Oh, why not? Why not? You can share your my Paxful story. Although just Louis, just give chance to the to others.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and anyway, we're the ones giving out the prizes, so I think it's fine. Okay, let's start doing the comment raffle. Thanks everyone in the chat for commenting. Even the comments that got a little bit mean, we do thank you for taking the time to watch and share your opinions with us. I will probably not comment too much on the mean stuff. So how about that? Okay. All right. So let's get this show on the road. Drum roll.
Yeah, I'm not part of the group of the comments, so I don't get to win again.
No, you do not get to win again. Mark Anthony is the first winner. He is one of 3, so we're gonna pick 2 more. Congratulations, Mark Anthony.
I think this guy win last week, although I'm not sure. So
really,
I'm taking note. I'm not sure though.
Right. Not
But
last
he's still
week,
allowed
but
to win
maybe
again.
He has one last time.
No, last week. Oh yeah.
Yeah, as long as
Probably,
it's not more than 2 times, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that is a very arbitrary rule, by the way. Like, there's no real reason why we can change that. So, okay, all right. I'll get winner number 2. Here we go. Oh, JR Sabernido, thank you for watching. By the way, I think I might have forgotten to say what you guys win. But anyway, so it's supposed to be $10 worth of Bitcoin, courtesy of Paxful.com. April will get in touch with you. After the show, she'll get in touch with you after the show, and she'll guide you to through the process of collecting your prize. Okay,
yes. $10 worth of Bitcoin, not 10 Bitcoin.
$10 worth of Bitcoin, and when I say dollars, I mean United States dollars. Like before people get really wisecracky about this. All right, last winner. Here we go. Winner number 3. I don't think. Yeah. Okay. So
redraw.
We're gonna have to redraw this one. All right. Congratulations, but you're not gonna get your $10. Sorry, buddy. Okay. Here you go. We've got to find a way to remove the names of other people. Oh, Hans Palacios, friend of Bloom, actually. We have not heard from you in a long time, Hans. Thank you so much for joining us and watching tonight and sharing your knowledge. We will be in touch after the show. Okay, so, and I think that brings us to a close for this week. Thanks, everyone, for coming over. Let's do our goodbyes now. Paulo Del Puerto,